Welcome. Take a slow, gentle breath. You are here with me, drifting into a story from long ago. Tonight we wander into Mesopotamia, the cradle of civilization, and discover 10 inventions that quietly shaped the world you know today. Let us begin with something so simple, yet so profound: writing itself. Close your eyes and imagine the soft clay tablets of ancient Sumer. The clay is cool to the touch, pressed gently by a reed stylus, leaving wedge-shaped impressions. This is cuneiform, the world's earliest known writing system, born around 3200 BCE. At first, it was not poetry or grand stories that filled the clay, but lists, carefully drawn records of grain, livestock, and temple offerings. Picture the steady hands of scribes working patiently in the flickering light of oil lamps, their marks creating order in a world of trade and ritual. Cuneiform was more than writing, it was memory. It allowed people to look back, to track, to plan ahead. With it came the first laws, the first contracts, and even the first recorded dreams. And so, in the quiet hum of the Mesopotamian night, a civilization learned to leave words behind, not carved in stone at first, but pressed softly into clay. Thousands of years later, we still read these signs, voices echoing across millennia. Let this image rest in your mind: a gentle hand, a clay tablet, and the sound of a stylus pressing softly, like rain falling onto the earth. Let us drift gently forward in time. Imagine yourself in the wide-open plains of Mesopotamia, where the rivers Tigris and Euphrates wind slowly through the land, feeding fields of barley and wheat. The year is around 3500 BCE, and here, a quiet revolution begins, not with noise, but with the steady turning of a circle, the wheel. At first, it was not made for travel. Picture a potter at his craft, shaping clay upon a spinning wheel. The circle moves smoothly, turning with patient rhythm, allowing bowls and jars to form, each one identical, each one useful. The invention seemed simple, almost ordinary, yet within it lay the seed of transformation. Now imagine someone, perhaps a craftsman or farmer, noticing the strength of this spinning disc. What if it could be placed beneath a cart? What if heavy loads could glide across the earth instead of being dragged? Slowly, wheels made their way onto wooden carts. 2 wheels, then 4. Oxen pulled them across dirt paths, carrying clay jars, baskets of grain, and building stones. What once took hours of heavy lifting now moved more gently, with the soft creak of wood and rope. The wheel connected villages to cities. It turned trade into something larger, something faster. Over time, wheels were not just tools, but symbols of progress, rolling forward like the passage of time itself. As you imagine this scene, feel the calm rhythm of the turning wheel. Each rotation is steady, like the breath you take now, in and out. Just as the wheel brought balance and movement to Mesopotamia, let it guide you now, slowly, peacefully, into a deeper state of rest. And now, let us drift into a different kind of discovery. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine yourself beneath the vast Mesopotamian night sky. The air is still, the only sound the gentle rustling of reeds along the riverbanks. Above you, countless stars glimmer softly, their patterns unchanged for thousands of years. It was under this same sky that the people of Mesopotamia began to see order in numbers, patterns hidden in the heavens and on the earth. They looked at the passage of days, at the cycles of the moon, at the steady rise and fall of the rivers. And in their quiet observations, they created something extraordinary. a system of mathematics based not on tens, as we use today, but on sixties. The sexagesimal system, as we now call it, was born. Imagine a scribe seated in a dim temple chamber, his reed stylus pressing carefully into clay. He divides a circle into 60 equal parts. He measures time in hours, minutes, and seconds, each based on 60. He marks the angles of stars, the arcs of the horizon, and the length of a day. Why 60? Because it is a generous number, easily divisible by 2, by 3, by 4, by 5. A number that brings balance, that allows fractions to be smooth and clear. To the Mesopotamians, it felt natural, almost harmonious. And so, from their tablets and calculations, a system emerged that still lingers in your life today. Every time you glance at a clock and see 60 minutes in an hour, every time you look at a compass divided into 360 degrees, you are quietly touching the legacy of Mesopotamia. These patterns are not modern inventions, but echoes of an ancient way of thinking, preserved through millennia. Picture yourself walking through an ancient courtyard, where teachers guide their pupils. Young students sit cross-legged with clay tablets, carefully learning multiplication tables, adding columns of numbers, practicing divisions. The soft murmur of their voices fills the air, not hurried but steady, as if weaving knowledge into the fabric of the city. And as you breathe slowly, imagine the gentle rhythm of numbers. 60 beats like a circle of calm. Let the thought settle that long before your time, long before the world you know, someone was already counting the stars, dividing the hours, and leaving behind a gift of order. Rest in this awareness as numbers flow softly like ripples across water. Now, let us drift gently to the bustling streets of Babylon. The air is warm, filled with the faint smell of baked bread and the sound of merchants calling softly from their stalls. Somewhere in the heart of the city, a tall stone stele rises, carved with rows upon rows of cuneiform. It is not a story, not a hymn, but law. This is the Code of Hammurabi, one of the earliest written systems of law, created around 1754 BCE. Imagine the king himself, Hammurabi, seated upon his throne. He is portrayed on the stele, receiving authority from Shamash, the god of justice. Around him, scribes press words into clay, ensuring that every citizen, rich or poor, farmer or merchant, knows the rules that bind them together. The laws are strict, sometimes harsh, but they carry with them a sense of fairness. An eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. To modern ears, it sounds severe, but in its time, it was a step away from chaos. Before Hammurabi, justice was personal, vengeance carried out by families, punishments chosen by strength. With these laws, justice became structured, written down, no longer hidden in memory or tradition. Picture yourself walking past the stone stele, the sunlight striking its polished surface. You cannot read the symbols, yet you feel their weight. They are more than marks. They are a promise that the strong will not crush the weak, that debts must be honored, that crimes must meet a measured response. Some laws speak of trade, of wages, of the price of grain. Others tell of family, of inheritance, of responsibility between husband and wife. Each law is like a thread, weaving a society together. And though thousands of years separate you from these people, the idea of justice, written, visible, shared, remains alive today. As you breathe slowly, let the thought sink in. Justice, once only a whisper, became words carved in stone. And those words, silent yet enduring, still echo in the laws that govern your world. Let us now step softly into the fertile lands of Mesopotamia. The rivers Tigris and Euphrates stretch before you, their waters glimmering under the soft light of dawn. This is a land that owes its very life to water. Without the rivers, it would be nothing more than dry earth and dust. But with them, the soil becomes rich, ready to grow grain, fruits, and vegetables to feed entire cities. Imagine early farmers waking with the sun, walking barefoot along the edges of fields. They carry wooden tools, simple yet sturdy, and with practiced hands, they open small channels, letting the river's flow spill gently across the land. It is not random. It is planned, carefully guided by knowledge passed down through generations. These are the first irrigation systems, networks of canals, ditches, and levees that harness the power of rivers. You can hear the quiet trickle of water weaving through narrow channels, spreading into plots of barley and wheat. Without rain, these fields would wither, but with irrigation, harvests grow abundant, enough to sustain not only families, but entire civilizations. This system turns scattered villages into great cities, for a city cannot exist without food. Close your eyes and picture the great effort it required. Whole communities worked together to dig canals, to raise earthen banks, to repair walls after floods. Men, women, and children moved earth with baskets, their movements slow and steady, the rhythm of survival guiding them. These canals were not only practical, they were sacred. Priests offered prayers to the river gods, asking that floods come gently, not violently, and that the waters always return when needed. Over time, the Mesopotamians developed more than just canals. They created tools to measure water levels, systems to divide land fairly, and records to keep track of harvests. They experimented with crop rotation, planting barley one year, legumes the next, to keep the soil strong. What might seem simple to us was, for them, the very heart of civilization. Think of it. Every loaf of bread, every jar of beer, every bowl of stew that nourished their lives began here, with water carried patiently through canals. As you breathe slowly, let yourself drift into the sound of trickling streams, of fields swaying softly in the wind. A reminder that progress often begins not with grand monuments, but with the steady, quiet flow of water across the earth. Now, lift your gaze slowly from the fields of earth and let your mind drift upward to the endless sky. The people of Mesopotamia lived beneath the same stars you see tonight, though for them, each star carried meaning, each movement a message. Imagine the flat rooftops of their mud brick homes. In the stillness of night, families gathered quietly, their eyes fixed on the heavens. The sky was their calendar, their clock, their compass. By watching the moon, they marked the passing of months. By tracing the path of the sun, they measured seasons. And by studying the stars, they felt they were reading the language of the gods. Picture a group of astronomer priests standing on the steps of a ziggurat. The great temple tower rises above the city, closer to the sky. From here, they record the cycles of the moon, the rise of Venus, the patterns of constellations. With clay tablets in hand, they press careful symbols, noting each observation. These are not hurried glances, but slow, patient studies, carried out night after night, year after year. From their careful work, the first calendars were born, 12 months, each based on the lunar cycle. Festivals, harvests, and planting times were guided by these rhythms. Even today, traces of their wisdom remain, hidden in how you measure time, how you understand the movement of the heavens. To the Mesopotamians, the stars were more than lights in the darkness. They were guides, omens, reminders of order beyond the human world. Imagine the comfort of looking up and knowing that the heavens followed a rhythm, that no matter the uncertainty of life, the sky would always keep time. As you breathe slowly now, picture the calm sweep of constellations, the gentle glow of the moon. Let the stars above Mesopotamia lull you into stillness, as they once lulled entire civilizations into harmony with the cosmos. As the Mesopotamian night stretched endlessly over the vast plains, priests climbed the tall ziggurats, their eyes fixed on the heavens. They were not merely stargazers, they were scholars, seeking to uncover a hidden order in the universe. From their perspective, the stars were not distant fires, but divine signs carved across the firmament. Each constellation was carefully traced, each movement recorded on clay tablets with sharp styluses. It was here, among these watchful nights, that the foundations of the zodiac were born. By grouping stars into recognizable shapes, lions, bulls, scorpions, the Mesopotamians turned the sky into a vast celestial map. This wasn't just poetry, it was a system. The rising of certain constellations signaled the flood season of the Euphrates, while others foretold planting and harvest. Kings sought advice based on these signs, believing their fate was tied to the stars above. What began as agricultural necessity soon expanded into personal destiny. The idea that the cosmos influenced human life spread from Mesopotamia to Babylon, and later into Greece and Rome. Even today, horoscopes and zodiac charts carry the ancient whispers of those first stargazers who etched meaning into the night sky thousands of years ago. Now let us drift gently from the stars back down to the warm, sunlit streets of Mesopotamia. Imagine the soft heat of the furnace, the golden glow flickering across the hands of skilled craftsmen. Here in this quiet workshop, a delicate art is taking shape. This is the birth of glassmaking. Long before modern tools, artisans discovered that when sand, ash, and lime were combined and heated, a translucent, malleable substance appeared. At first it was simple, beads, small ornaments, or decorative inlays for temples and homes. But over time, the possibilities seemed endless. Jars, bowls, and elegant vessels emerged, catching the sunlight, shimmering like captured drops of water. Picture the artisans bending carefully over the glowing molten material, using reeds and simple tools to shape it. Each movement is deliberate, slow, almost meditative. The workshop is quiet except for the crackle of the furnace and the gentle hiss of heated glass. Watching them work, one can almost feel the patience required, the understanding that beauty comes with time and care. Glass was not only admired, it was useful. Containers preserved oils, perfumes, and precious liquids. Some pieces were symbolic, offered as gifts to gods or kings. And through this practice, humans learned the subtle secrets of heat, composition, and transformation. Lessons that would echo for millennia. As you breathe slowly, let the gentle glow of molten glass settle in your imagination. See the translucent jars reflecting soft candlelight. The artisan's careful hands shaping something that is both fragile and enduring. The world was learning patience, artistry, and the quiet joy of creation, one delicate vessel at a time. Now let us walk quietly through the shaded streets of a Mesopotamian city. Imagine the soft murmur of people, the warm sunlight spilling across mud brick walls. In a small courtyard, a healer works, surrounded by herbs, clay vessels, and simple surgical tools. This is where early medicine quietly unfolds. The Mesopotamians believed in the delicate balance of the body, the influence of spirits, and the power of plants. They mixed oils and crushed herbs to soothe ailments, murmuring gentle prayers for healing. Imagine the calm hands of a healer gently applying a poultice to a patient, the scent of chamomile and thyme rising in the warm air. Surgical practices were simple but significant. Small incisions, careful sutures, or the use of natural antiseptics were all part of a careful, patient approach. No hurry, no spectacle, just meticulous attention to the fragile human body. Clay tablets record these practices, giving instructions for treating wounds, fever, or injuries. Now picture a quiet evening in the healer's courtyard. The family of a patient sits nearby, listening softly to the instructions, trusting in knowledge passed down from generation to generation. The healer's hands move with precision and calm, the warm breeze carrying the faint scent of herbs. Each gesture is deliberate, each treatment gentle. Medicine in Mesopotamia was not only about curing the body, but about understanding life itself, its fragility, its rhythms, and its connection to the world around. As you breathe slowly, imagine the calm patience of the healer, the soft rustle of herbs, the quiet dedication to preserving life, just as humans have been doing for thousands of years. Now let us step into a quiet school courtyard in ancient Mesopotamia. The air is still, filled with the soft rustle of reeds and the faint scent of clay. Here children sit cross-legged on mats, their eyes fixed on the clay tablets in front of them. This is where knowledge begins, where the next generation learns to read, write, and think. Imagine the teacher's calm voice guiding young students as they press a reed stylus into soft clay, forming the delicate wedge-shaped marks of cuneiform. Each tablet is a small world, recording lessons, exercises, and stories. Some children repeat numbers, others copy lists of goods, and a few practice the first steps of poetry. The work is slow and methodical, with patience as the teacher's most important tool. These schools often attached to temples were the heart of learning. They taught more than writing. They taught responsibility, memory, and precision. Imagine a young student carefully erasing and reshaping a mark, his tongue peeking slightly from concentration. Around him, clay tablets stack quietly, waiting to preserve the knowledge that might one day shape laws, commerce, or even medicine. The education system of Mesopotamia shows a remarkable understanding that civilization is built not just on walls and rivers, but on minds trained to observe, record, and share. Picture the soft glow of an oil lamp illuminating the classroom, the gentle scratching of styluses on clay, and the quiet focus of students fully absorbed in learning. As you breathe in and out, imagine yourself sitting among them, the rhythm of writing lulling you into calm reflection. Thousands of years later, the echoes of these small hands pressing marks into clay can still be felt in every book, every letter, and every thought carried forward through time. Now let us wander through the quiet streets and bustling marketplaces of ancient Mesopotamia. Imagine the soft murmur of traders exchanging goods, the warm sunlight reflecting off clay vessels, and the gentle clatter of tools in workshops. Here, civilization shows its cleverness in two remarkable ways: seals and beer. First, the seals. Picture small cylindrical objects, intricately carved, rolling across soft clay to leave unique impressions. These cylinder seals served as signatures, marking ownership, authenticity, and identity. Merchants used them to confirm transactions. Officials used them to record laws and property. Each seal was personal, elegant, and practical, a tiny piece of art that quietly carried authority across the city. And then, the invention of beer. Yes, Mesopotamia gave birth to one of humanity's oldest beverages. Imagine clay jars filled with golden liquid, foam rising gently to the top. Barley, water, in time transformed into something nourishing, comforting, and social. Beer was not just a drink, it was sustenance, ritual, and celebration. People shared it during festivals, offered it to gods, and even used it as payment in some instances. Picture a small tavern, sunlight streaming through reed mats, where a family pours beer from a jar into cups. The air is warm, filled with the scent of fermented barley and the gentle hum of conversation. Nearby, a merchant rolls his personal seal across clay, confirming a transaction. The city moves in quiet harmony, sustained by water, trade, knowledge, and the simple joy of shared invention. As you breathe slowly, imagine the seal leaving its impression, the beer shimmering in the jar, the city stretching peacefully along the rivers. Civilization, in its smallest and largest forms, has grown from these inventions. Writing, wheels, laws, irrigation, astronomy, glass, medicine, education, identification, and yes, even beer. Each one a quiet testament to human creativity, patience, and the rhythm of daily life. Take one last deep, slow breath and feel the connection across time. Thousands of years separate you from these people, yet through their work, their inventions, and their quiet lives, a gentle thread links you to them. Let that thought lull you into calm reflection, into rest, and into sleep.